Hello, everybody. Welcome back for another video. I do hope that you're all doing well and that you're all having an absolutely incredible day. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Yeah, there's a brand new video every single day about this intense and wacky market. Wacky is a very, very nice word. Very big thank you to everyone who leaves a like on the video as well. And without any further ado, let's jump right into it. And I know, how do I say this in words? We are going to see that there's no more crypto on exchanges. Yeah, that. So, some days the news ends up being, depending on how much I'm ranting during said video. A lot of the news sometimes ends up being about companies or accumulation or prices, predictions, where the cryptocurrency market is going to go, ETFs, that whole shebang. But recently we keep hearing that apparently companies are making sure that the general public doesn't know what they're doing, / are buying up such huge amounts of crypto that it's actually affecting the market, and it's going to have a profound effects on accumulation and prices for years to come. The misconceptions are always that what happens now is only going to affect now. No, my friends. We are going to see the literal ripples, like the effect of this, for years and years and years, as it continues to, for some reason, get more and more dramaticals. A company by the name of the Ether Machine. I wonder what they do. I can't figure that one out. The Ether Machine, a planned public company following a pending business combination with Dynamics Corporation and the Ether Reserve LLC, announced today that they did raise $654 million that allowed them to accumulate an additional 150,000 Ether. Financing that they got from someone called Jeffrey Burns, a founder. It says founder of Blockchains. I'm going to assume that Blockchains is a company and that this man did not create multiple blockchains. The additional capital is expected to further enable the Ether Machine to launch from a position of strength on day one as a public vehicle upon the closing of the business combination. For whatever reason, I assume tax-wise or paperwork-wise, a lot of companies this summer announced that they would be merging, that they would be buying up companies, or that they'd be starting brand new companies in general. I mean, across the board. We saw this with, I believe, 2 or 3 Ether companies. Ethereum-based accumulation companies. And I think one for Bitcoin. That was Capital 21, which was meant to be, I believe, an amalgamation of other companies that would be renamed 21 Capital, who were planning on buying huge amounts of Bitcoin. The Ether Machine previously announced over $800 million of fully committed financing from institutional and strategic investors, as well as an anchor contribution currently valued at $741 million, representing 169,984 ETH. by co-founder and chairman Andrew Keys at inception. This additional investment brings the total ETH to around 500,000 Ether, with up to $367 million remaining to acquire additional Ether, assuming no Dynamics Corporation public shareholders exercise their redemption rights and prior to the payment of transaction expenses. That was a long paragraph. Geez Louise. Yes. So here we are again, the Ether machine. You could have really just figured that one out. As of late, we had news that what was it? I think over 30 companies, I think that was the number. 30 companies have openly announced that they're going to be buying large amounts of Ether, or that they're creating an Ethereum reserve of some sort. The Ether machine does not sound familiar. I feel like I would have made fun of that one. We already had Bitmine. We had, what was it called? Something gaming company. I don't remember. We've had a lot of, those kinds of names. The Ether machine sounds like the final boss in like a Final Fantasy game. And I think I would have remembered that one pretty easily. So yeah, they get thrown on top of the list now of companies who are just randomly, seemingly accumulating huge amounts of money and then accumulating huge amounts of Ether. There's the last other company. What were they? They accumulated, what was it 1.3 million Ether in like 5 or 6 weeks. For those of you who don't know, you know how, so we keep hearing from the Bitcoin companies, we plan on accumulating 21,000 Bitcoin. We want 210,000, like that kind of thing. The Ethereum people aren't limiting themselves to numbers at all. They're just kind of they seemingly want all of it. I think 1 or 2 of them announced that they would like to procure 5 to 7% of all Ether out there. The magical things about numbers is that they're pretty easy to figure out. So if we get 20 companies all aiming for 5%, well, guess what? 5 times 20 is 100. So the amount of Ether on exchanges is probably going to be non-existent in the very near future. And that's going to be something that a lot of people are going to have to actually deal with, because for some reason, a lot of people in this market don't foresee a future where these companies have simply bought everything, they're holding everything, and they have no intention of getting rid of it. A lot of these last thought. A lot of these companies as well have announced after they do acquire their Ether that they're staking it, like specifically for the actual passive income. So, get ready to, not have any Ether or Bitcoin left. That's gonna be something. Yeah, that's the Ether machine. Has roughly around 500,000 Ether. And, if we can, play logic here, by the time we get to December, that's probably going to be over 1 million Ether. So keep that in mind. Okie dokie. Let's move on. And what can only be considered surprising news. I'm sure that none of you have heard about this before. It's actually quite dramatic, and it's going to completely change the way that we actually look at this market, because, getting this news for the first time might be quite dramatic for a lot of you, but I understand, and I know that you'll be able to, be strong and hold on. A company by the name of SharpLink Gaming is once again back in the news. We heard about them 2 days ago. SharpLink Gaming, no longer Sharp, nor a link, or apparently about gaming. One of the world's largest corporate holders of Ether has reported a substantial increase in its digital asset reserves. I would have never thought that. I'm totally taken aback, because we're not hearing from these companies every other day. So I'm a little shooketh. The company announced they've acquired another 56,533 Ether. Apparently they got lucky and they paid 4,400 per coin, lifting their total holdings. This is a company called SharpLink Gaming. Their holdings are now 797,000 Ether, valued at approximately 3.7 billion US monies. So the weirdest part is, if you didn't catch on, SharpLink Gaming has 797,000 Ether. Got it. Awesome. Amazing. The other company called the Ether Machine, if you didn't get it, is they sound a bit more intense. And I bet my bottom dollar that they're probably going to be accumulating heavier than SharpLink Gaming. I don't know what the fudge is going on or how these companies, seemingly out of nowhere, are able to gather such huge amounts of capital. But this is all, once again, within the last 2 months. Surprise, right? Yeah, time is fascinating. So by the time we get to, I would say, the second week of November, all of these companies are going to have 1 million or several million Ether under their belt in some sort of way. So fantastic. Sorry for screaming into the mic, but it's also one of those things where it's like, oh, snaps. Like, the world is definitely changing, and hope people are paying attention, because I know a lot of friends that I have aren't, and that's been quite annoying as of late. So that's just the way the money crumbles, or something like that. That's the SharpLink Gaming is probably going to have 1 million. Jeez Louise. Probably going to have 1 million Ether before we know it news. And yeah, let's move on. I'm not really sure if we were supposed to cheer for this news or if it was something really cool, but it was widely discussed that this has happened. Apparently, Gemini, the crypto exchange, has received a MiCA license within Europe. And I say it this way. Gemini years ago could have potentially been a contender for one of the largest crypto exchanges on the planet. And I know that they are, but one of the more popular ones. But that ship has seemingly sailed, at least at this point. So earlier, no, actually even last year, time is flying. Last year, you know how like stable coins and accumulation are kind of like the big stories this year? Last year, it had to do with regulations, and as seemingly we're getting a large amount of regulations, a lot of, crypto exchanges are trying to make sure that they're basically compliant across the world. But cool. This approval allows Gemini to offer secure and reliable cryptocurrency services in all 30 European countries, tapping into a much larger market. The MiCA regulatory framework aims to standardize crypto laws throughout EU member states, fostering a sustainable crypto ecosystem in the region. In addition to the MiCA license, Gemini received its investment firm license to offer derivatives under MIFIDII, or 2, I assume that's a 2, in May, establishing itself as a fully compliant crypto trading venue in the European Union. The company recently launched tokenized stocks in the region and plans to introduce new products and services for both retail and institutional customers, including derivatives. Gemini emphasizes awesome. Cool, yeah. News like this used to be pretty big, like really, in the olden days when we didn't know if a lot of the market, not if it was going to survive, but kind of just, would it actually be there because what have you. But yeah, we don't get a lot of MiCA news anymore. And also there are other exchanges. I mentioned that years ago, if you weren't here for my cynicisms. A lot of crypto exchanges, I don't know if they thought they were too good for other regions or if they were simply just only focusing on New York for a very long time. But yeah, other crypto exchanges exist. So a lot of times when we do get news like this, it has to do with like some kind of regulatory paperwork. It's like, well, that's cool. Well, you know, those countries already have other options. So yeah, good job. This was also, and I say it this way, this was relatively popular news just because the Gemini is in the news. They've been quite vocal of their support for Bitcoin and crypto. They've been seen at the White House. So I assume there's some kind of a tether between all these things, that if the Gemini twins are popular in this way and then they do something in the European Union, therefore people, I don't know, there's some kind of a connection there that might or might not actually exist, as we are not in the year 2013 anymore, and we have a huge amount of crypto exchanges all over the planet. Yeah. Hope everyone's doing well. What's everyone been up to? What have you been buying? What are you investing in? What tickles your fancy? What's going on right now? What are you looking at? There's a lot of different coins I'm paying attention to. Me and my friends kind of around January, February, we chose 2 different coins and we invested not a lot, but by any means. And I mean like $600 like a season into them. And now we're looking to see if the mega ultra super bull run is going to have any effect on those coins. I find things like that very interesting. It's because usually what ends up happening during multiple bull runs that we've had before, there's always like a coin that you hear about and then you kind of like forget about. And then when the news comes out, that's, you know, this one coin, you know, did 10,000%, you know, rise. And so these are the coins that we've kind of looked at to see if we actually can get a 10,000% rise out of them. Anyway, yeah. I do hope that you've all enjoyed. I do hope that you all are having a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope that it is absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and supporting. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.